Hello, hello, and welcome back to the channel. And I'm going to go over some things today with you, and not going to take long for what to look for when your diesel engine is having a cooling issue, because this is one thing that I experienced, and now I'm having to do something totally different with my 2006 Freightliner Columbia as far as the engine goes. It all started a few months ago that I started to lose coolant, and so I went and first thing I went off all the forums and stuff like that, and they were talking about the EGR cooler. The EGR cooler was possibly bad, so I went and bought a new EGR cooler, put a new EGR cooler on it, and I'm speaking of the 60 series 14 liter. This is for the 14 liter 60 series Detroit. You can also use some of this on any engine, but primarily the ones that I'm speaking of is the from the 2004 to about the 2009 Detroit 14 liter 60 series that is equipped with a EGR and a EGR cooler and a EGR turbo. So I wanted to put this out because I don't want anybody to go through what I did as far as this. And it was end up being something so simple that I bought all the other stuff, but this thing here is what caused it all. So I'm gonna dive into it. You check the forums and the forum material. If your truck is running fine, you don't have any, just having moderate temperature spikes, it'll talk about the it'll talk about the EGR cooler. It'll say that the EGR on the turbo, or that it's going bad. It'll tell you, something will tell you that the EGR itself is not venting, that the Delta P sensors are bad and stuff like that. You'll think about the radiator, you'll do the water pump and all that. I've done all that. I've done the EGR cooler, I've done the Delta P, I've done the water pump, I've done the radiator. And the thing that I didn't do, I kept saying that I didn't have any problem, but after I replaced the radiator, because I bought a new radiator that's all aluminum. The one I had in there first was the regular aluminum with the plastic tanks. So I replaced it with a new radiator, which is all aluminum, put that in there, replaced the cap on the radiator and stuff like that, and the truck seemed to run okay. I ran the truck for probably about 3 or 4 months, and it was doing just fine. The temperature would get to about 200, 205. The fan would come on, it would bring the temperature back down the truck around 170 to 180. Truck was doing fine, no problem, no loss of cooler, anything like that. So I felt, okay, well, maybe the forums were right, and not just relying on that, but the way the truck was running. It was running like it had ran previously. With that being said, about 3 months ago, I was on my way to Michigan and left out with the truck like I do any other time, checking the coolant on it, checking the oil on it, everything like that, and took out with the truck. Drove the truck about a little over 500 miles. I left Houston and got over there to Meridian, Mississippi. Got about 10 miles from Meridian, Mississippi, and the temperature on the truck started to climb. So I pulled over at a truck stop, checked all the levels and everything. Everything was fine, nothing. Everything was fine, no boiling over, no lost coolant, anything like that. Got going. When I got going again, I got about 3 miles from the truck stop. Check engine light, the shutdown light come on, just that fast. Had to pull over, check everything out. It had been ran hot, but not so hot as it cracked heat anything. It just ran warm. So as soon as the light on that particular truck, when the light comes on, it'll just turn it off, which was good. It was a good safety measure. It turned it off. So get over there. I sit a few minutes and everything, let it cool down, check the coolant. It was about half a gallon low. So I went ahead on and topped it back off with antifreeze, crunk it up, checked for leaks again, checked heater hoses and all that because I had to replace all the heater hoses and stuff like that. None of that was a problem. Got on over to the truck stop, spent the night, got up the next morning, bought what I felt was a bad radiator cap because I was looking at the forums. They were saying that the radiator cap, when it goes bad, it will cause that kind of problem. So bought a radiator cap right there at Stewart, right there at Freightliner. That's what I felt the problem was, so I got going. Drove from Meridian, Mississippi, got over to Birmingham, made it over to Birmingham, truck running fine. Pulled in the truck stop, same issue again. So I said, I gotta have a leak somewhere around here. So I stopped there and had them pressure test the cooling system. The guy pressure tested the cooling system, didn't have any leaks, but I noticed a little condensation from the flex pipe that came out of the turbo that was going out. I said, man, it's never done that before. So I went ahead on, parked the truck, turned it off, went and got me something to eat. And like I said, it got a good bill of health from the pressure test. So I went ahead on, went and got something to eat, came out, checked the truck over again, no water in the oil, no oil in the water, everything's fine. Turned the truck on, went to sleep. Left that next morning, got 10 miles up the road, temperature pig. Came back and said, man, it's gotta be something. So I let the truck run and I just sat there and let it run and tried to check the temperature change on the cooling system when the thermostats opened and didn't open. Ironically, thermostats were bad. I knew I had never replaced them because I never had any reason to or nothing like that. Totally overlooked the thermostats. Totally overlooked the thermostats. In a car or anything else, that would have been the first thing I replaced. But it ended up being the last thing that I replaced in my truck. So I replaced the thermostats, I replaced the surge tank, everything like that, flushed it all out, filled it up with a antifreeze, and got going. Did okay, made it back on the trip. But the damage had already been done. When the thermostats went that day, they caused the head gasket on it to start seeping. Not bad enough where the truck wouldn't run, but just enough where it would, where it would lose coolant overnight if I let it set. It would just lose it, and the coolant would just lose coolant. So I made this video because I'm in the process of getting ready to take my truck to my mechanic so that he can take the head off of it, tear it all down. I know it's the head gasket, have the head checked and all that, and put it back together. I'm doing this because I want every one of my subscribers and anybody look at this video to know this. Number one, first thing you do just like you do a car. Or pressure test the system. Even if you pressure test it and it comes out okay, if you haven't physically replaced the thermostats in that system, do it. Because the thermostats what gave me the problem because they made my water pump, the back on the Detroit, you have an inspection cover on the back of the water pump. That inspection cover started leaking on my truck. And so with that being said, later on, come to find out from other mechanics that deal with these issues on the big trucks, they were telling me that right then and there, that was saying that the thermostats in it were going bad, and that's what caused that because it had all that back pressure and it had nowhere to go. The only place it could go was through there or through the head, but it wasn't hot enough for the head. But that was the weakest point what it did. So if you're experiencing any kind of cooling issue with your truck, start with the thermostats first. Pressure test the system. Start the thermostats, get it flushed out, do the thermostats, get it flushed out, check your water pump, check your hoses, making sure nothing is, no hose is sucking in, anything like that, or anything's clogged on it. Make sure the all cool on the engine is flowing and everything. Just check all that. But the main thing, them thermostats. If it had been a Cummins or a Cat, I would have caught it right off because I've had a lot of those engines in my career. This is my first Detroit that I had here. And sadly enough, I didn't even think about the thermostats. That was the last thing I did, which should have been the first thing that I did. But you know, a lot of times you're working and doing stuff, and you're at the mercy of whoever you have working on the truck when it's on the road. I should have did thermostats that night when the guy came out and replaced the water pump. So I just want you all to know that. If you haven't done so, please subscribe, like, share, comment. Thanks for watching the video. I hope that this video is inspirational to everyone that watches it. Number one, if you're having any kind of coolant issues, if you've checked the hoses, you've checked your belts, you've checked you don't have any leaks, and instead of doing it, get that thermostat or those thermostats out of there. Do that, because chances are this 9 out of 10. I hadn't ever replaced mine, and I had the truck for a long time now, and I never had no problem until I replaced that radiator. But when I replaced the radiator, the thermostats were probably going bad then. So I called myself replacing the radiator and the water pump and all that. Totally overlooked the thermostats. Don't do that. If you don't have any leaks, you're having a little bit of temperature problems, you tested your antifreeze to make sure it's at the right mixture and everything, go it on. Be safe. Take those thermostats out of there. Get them thermostats replaced. I guarantee you, you won't be going through what I went through, the guessing game. And that's just what it was, a guessing game, to find out that a $91 part, which is what those thermostats cost, $91, and it cost another $200 some to have them put in. If I would have just went that way first, I wouldn't be going through a head gasket and getting that put on now. So thanks again. And as I say, I hope this helps somebody. Have a great day. Continue to check me out on my videos and stuff like that. And I guarantee you, like I always say, it will be something interesting. It won't be no bull crap. It won't be me trying to mislead you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going through and what has happened. Thanks again. Bye.